Greetings, Geechlings. Geechin Prime here with my discussion series, the Straw Hat Power Up, or Future Possible Power Up series. Probably the final installment, but I did kind of have like a few ideas on maybe a couple Straw Hats, so there might be supplementary videos to this, but let's get to it. You know him, you love him, he's the captain of the Straw Hats, the future Pirate King, it's Monkey D. Luffy, our favorite rubber boy. We'll start this off like I always do, talking about hockey, but obviously he's going to, increase like his range of observation. Really nothing special there, I have to say. And then armament, probably going to get more proficient with that. Where I really focused on was applications to his devil fruit, the Gomu Gomu no Mi. Or the Gum Gum for, where I thought, okay, I'm sure people have seen it, and I believe Joy Boy was the one where I got some of this idea from. I did try, a lot of these are probably ideas that other people have had, and I'll try to give credit if I remember where I originally got it and tried to make it something a bit more original. So, no disrespect to anybody. Okay, ever since we saw Gear 4th, and we know Luffy uses Red Hawk, so, combine those two together. He hasn't done that, so it's like, why can't he... why can't he use that in Gear 4th? Well, given how Red Hawk works, it's more of a quick punch because it uses the speed in armament hockey to cause friction, which then ignites his fist. So it has to be a straight punch. And most of the attacks of like Bound Man, and we don't know anything about Tank Man, they don't really have that speed, and that, they have too many like drawbacks, to pull back the fist to keep attacking, so it seems less likely that they would be able to achieve it. So then you have the newly revealed Snake Man, which is a speed-based form, and remember, what form does Luffy use when he uses Red Hawk in the first place? Gear 2nd, which is speed-based. So basically, like King Cobra, basically, like it wraps around, and then, well, imagine that fist is now on fire. And I did a mock-up kind of what that sort of looks like, and it'll be up on screen eventually. But probably the thing that I was I can't really say proud of, but I did do the artwork for it, and I'm kind of proud of that. I'm not much of an artist. Is Gear 5th, which, kind of a logical thing. You got Gear 4th, 2nd and 3rd, all that, and it's like, there's 5 gears on a manual transmission, so here you go. I did a little mock-up of that, of like, basically, each limb, he just kind of covers a part of his body, and how this gear functions is that he blows air into the cavity underneath his skin. Gear 2nd was blood-based, Gear 3rd was bone-based, 4th is muscle. That kind of left not a whole lot of his body left, so let's go with the skin. And there's actually scientific stuff based on it. Like they use air to I forget exactly what it was, but it'll be up on screen, where they kind of like to help even out some parts of your body, like when there's like, I think it's lack of muscle, and they inflate it so that it evens it out until more can be, kind of grow in that cavity. So I was like, there's actually precedent for this in the real world. I was surprised. So yeah, he just kind of blows up his skin, which when it's covered in hockey, and hockey he's shown to kind of be able to morph his rubber body. Well, because it's the skin and not like all of his body, he can maybe mold that a lot easier because it's a lot thinner. And then, like I should be up on screen at some point, He then molds it into various weapons. I got this idea from Tekking, so thank you for that. And thank you, Joy Boy, for the previous thing. You get a shield, or the way I accidentally drew it, it looks like one of those walk pots, a flail, spiked shin guards, an axe, which, remember, he does have attacks in his base form and in some of his other forms where it's named after an actual weapon or item or something. Now he can actually do that. So, and what this how this is really utilized is because he's mostly just a blunt attacker, but when you morph that into a point and then harden it with hockey, guess what? He now has blades and spikes and whatever else he wants, but he can still do the blunt things like a whip or a hammer, and he's actually done harpoon, so, and stamp and various other attacks. He could do a shield if he wants, like I said, so, he's got defense, offensive, whatever he needs. And, he could maybe even do like a back glider, which I was having a hard time getting that, so I don't have a picture for that one, sadly. But yeah, I did some mock-ups of that, and I'm a little proud of them. And then this could even be applied somewhat in a similar fashion to third gear, or gear third, where he kind of goes giga drill break, where he inflates his whole like arm and fist, turns it into a drill, and then it looks like Giga Drill Break. It's awesome. I love the idea when I started like envisioning it in my head. And let's see, what else was there? Oh yes, the final thing was Awakening. This one, while its overall potential seems pretty good, at least in the beginning stages, it kind of gets a little lackluster towards the end because of just the general, like, I guess you could apply hockey to it. But anyway, Awakening will work like this. Much like the other two Awakened Devil Fruit users, Doflamingo and Katakuri, Luffy would have the ability to give his environment the properties of rubber, which, and there's 3 stages because, he's not going to become a master of it overnight. And the names are like based on the rough area in which that can be covered. So you have stage 1, which is like bouncy room. So roughly like a 20 by 20 area, like a regular bounce house in a way. So it was kind of a small area, but good for a beginner, I would think. Then stage 2, which is bounce house, it gains quite a bit more area because he's gained a bit more experience with it, and then it affects like an area roughly the size of a building, or say the Sunny, for instance, which I did come up with a tactic that he could use when doing that. Okay, say they're being pursued by the Marines and they're shooting cannonballs left and right. The sails have just been taken out, all that. And Luffy's like, damn it, you're not ruining my ship anymore. He's like, everyone get inside. We're going bounce house. And, everyone's like, oh boy. They go down into the, go into the ship. Everything's safe. He then turns the Sunny itself into rubber, and then all the cannonballs that are being fired are being either launched back at the ship or being diverted somewhere. So now it's physically able to withstand blunt trauma, which Frankie would be like, God bless you, Luffy, you just saved me a lot of work. And Usopp be like, yep, I like keeping our ship in ship shape. So yeah, that could be fun. Then stage 3 is Bounce World. And there's a reason I had to call it Bounce World and not Rubber World. Well, anybody that's over the age of 18 watching this video, you can Google that for yourself. I didn't want that in my video. because I was like, huh, I wonder what a rubber world would look like. And I went to go Google, and then I was like, oh, I need to rename that. But anyway, Bounce World is kind of like, okay, anybody that's been watching My Hero Academia or reading My Hero Academia, the manga, around chapter 170 or so, we found out about a villain, not really a villain, and more of an anti-hero in anything, named crap, I've already forgotten his name. Well, anyway, his picture will be in the thing, so he had a quirk that allowed him to basically give things the property of rubber, including the air itself, which I don't think anyone in Awakening can do that. So, but yeah, like, and this would be kind of like with how Doflamingo like was able to like turn everything into strings. Luffy would essentially like turn the whole freaking like town that he's in into rubber. That's on the level that he'd be at that point. I mean, Katakuri basically turned the whole mirror world into mochi, so yeah, he would finally be on like their level. That range of that mastery, it just all culminate into him being able to do this. And where the benefits of any of his awakening becomes really beneficial is the fact that, okay, have you ever been like running down the street and then like you're chasing somebody and then all of a sudden the floor is a bounce, a bouncy quality, and you go flying? Yeah, nobody does. So that's kind of where this power comes into play. But like, he turns a corner, he turns the ground after being chased by Marines or something, and then they are like, oh, we got him cornered in the alley, and then they touch the spot that he turned into rubber and they go bouncing around. And if they hit like one of the walls or something and he turned that into it, and then there you go, that's like ping pong balls, except they're people. It's people. Anyway, yeah, a little Soylent Green humor there, but so yeah, I just really enjoyed like the whole concept of him being able to bounce around. Now, be it that it gets weaker over time, because based on the fact that people would eventually like hear tell of how he uses his awakening, so they'll be a little more aware of it, and maybe like, while not in the middle of a fight, someone wouldn't be able to like, okay, if I bounce off this wall and then bounce off that wall, I'll be able to hit right in his face. It's like, no. You'd have to be pretty experienced in battle, rarely on the fly kind of thing to do that. So, but like regular cannon fodder and stuff, he'll be able to knock them out in no time. Not even have to use Conqueror's Haki, which would be awesome. But yeah, I think that's about all I really had to say about it, just some ideas that there is one more. It's basically reverse gear. It was one I wasn't really going to include. It's okay, you remember like during the Enies Lobby arc, and Luffy was fighting all those agents of the government and everything, and he like grabs onto the back of them and like wraps his arms around them, and then he controlled them like a robot. I think it was Gomo Robot, but I could be wrong about that. What if he kind of does that, like using some of the principles of like Gear 5th as I described, where he inflates and then he can like maybe make clamps or something, and then he like when someone like throws a punch or swings their sword, he can grab it and then redirect it right back at them, reversing it. Ta-da! Real stupid idea, but I thought I'd included it here at the end anyway. But anyway, thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought about it, and I'll see you next time. Or follow me on Twitter at Keishan Prime, and I'll see you next time. Keishlings, roll out.